Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll be discussing data ownership in Autodesk Docs and demonstrating what you need to know about managing your sub-consultants through the Docs platform. My name is Ben Hipsley. I will be supported today by Shane O'Rourke, who will be joining me in the demonstration within Docs today. So as an agenda, look, we'll give a very quick overview of what Docs is and how it can be used, as well as a typical workflow that you can have between yourselves as asset owners and a sub-consultant. I promise that will be it with the slides today, and we'll be spending most of the session in a live demonstration. So just to set the scene, so Autodesk, it's part of the Autodesk Construction Cloud, along with three other packages, namely BIM Collaborate Pro, Takeoff, and Build. So together, the Construction Cloud, it provides a full lifecycle solution for designers through construction and in the operation phase as well. As you can see from the image, Autodesk Docs really underpins the Autodesk Construction Cloud. In its most bare form, it's a cloud-based common data environment. It has unlimited storage capacity, but it also includes excuse me, a large range of other functions to assist in your typical engineering design workflows. So that can be document versioning, folder structures and naming, standardization, markups, task notifications, issue and review tracking, file sharing and collaboration. Much of these features you will see in the demonstration today. Look, it is also important to note that Autodesk Docs, it does come as part of the Autodesk AEC collection. I know many of you already use this collection, so hopefully this demonstration today helps you to unlock extra value from that collection. For those of you not using the collection, it can be purchased separately as well. So what challenges does Autodesk Docs solve for asset owners? So it's a common issue for asset owners that they receive information from external consultants that's not consistent, and it's in varying formats that can't necessarily be correlated. This data can be received through various means as well. It could be an email transmittal or a web transfer through OneDrive or Google Docs maybe, where Autodesk Docs provides a platform where models and drawings from external consultants can be transferred and stored in that very common place. It also provides additional review and approval workflows where you're not relying on emails and scanning hand markups. Issues and markups can automatically notify the relevant people and be accurately tracked to ensure nothing is being missed. Folder structures and naming conventions can also be standardized across internal and external teams. So gone are the days where as an asset owner, all you have to show for the assets you own are a printed or scanned set of PDF drawings. Through Autodesk Docs, it simplifies the transmittal and delivery process to make sure it's easy for you to receive 3D design models for your assets rather than just the drawings. This can significantly benefit your construction process as well as the ongoing asset maintenance of that asset. So what value does Autodesk Docs bring to you? Well, it supports teams, projects, and businesses alike, all in a connected way. For teams, it provides every team member with the specific tools they need to collaborate with others, and it supports the digitization of tasks and centralizes the capture of data. This can significantly increase the efficiency and quality control for your teams. For projects, it standardizes the project and initiation setup, and it also ensures that all data that is being captured for everybody is then working on the same version of a model, and tasks between team members are not being missed. For businesses, it helps drive efficiency within your organization, and it provides commonality and standardization across all of your teams. So this is the typical workflow that can be used by an asset owner to unlock this value for their teams and organizations. So the workflow is shown here. It's an example of what can be achieved in Autodesk Docs to achieve those required outcomes. You will see this workflow in action very shortly. Just for reference, the workflow you do see in the demonstration, it will skip a couple of the initial phases around Autodesk Docs, particularly around account setup. And we'll be moving directly into step 3 there, which is more into the project standardization initiation steps of this workflow description. But look, obviously, if you want to see anything more than what we demonstrate today, then I'm happy for you to get in touch and we can certainly do that for you. Okay, so on to our live demonstration. So we'll begin the demonstration showing the project template. Now, in an effort to keep everyone up to date on where we are in this workflow, I will pop this screen back up from time to time. Hopefully that just allows people to pinpoint exactly where we are within that workflow. So I'll just jump across into my Docs environment. Hopefully I pull up the right screen. I think I have there. So this is one of the home pages of the Docs environment. We're in our account admin at the moment, so I can see all of the projects that we have in our account and all of our account settings and tools across the sidebar here as well. So I can show that we do already have a little bit set up in here. So we've already got some project members, or account members, I should say, set up for us. We already have some different companies, and we already have some roles. So basically a role is fully customizable. So whatever roles you might have within your organization can obviously be added in. Same as companies and members, as you can see, it's quite simple to add them in there. It is important to note as well that if you do add members into your account, that member doesn't actually get notified until they're then added to a project. So you can basically add in your entire team up front, even if you don't want them getting any notifications up front. And then as soon as you actually add them to a project, that's when they're made aware that they're part of your Docs organization. Let me just kind of pull that down on the screen. No, that's okay. Okay, so the next part that I want to show is a project template. So a project template is basically the base structure of the of your projects. And it's copyable, basically the template for every project that you set up from there. As you can see, we have a couple of different project templates set up, so you can set up multiple templates. So if you have slightly different structures for projects based on the type of project or the client or anything like that, then you can obviously set up multiple templates. So I will quickly show you what that looks like. So you can, if you already have an existing project that you haven't used a template from, you've just started a project and created a folder structure and other bits and pieces from within a project, you can actually convert that into a template through this function here, or you can simply just create it from blank. Now, I'm not actually going to create one today because I already have them set up, but I will just open one just to show you what you can apply to a template, which then gets copied across into any project from there. So if I start here, so we have a members list, so you can see myself there. So basically any member you add into this list here, they will automatically then get added to the project once this project template is assigned. The notifications tool is a very important one as well. So this is basically all the actions that you do within the Docs platform can create notifications for each of the users. Now, it is important to show this because out of the box, I know personally some of the frequencies that are automatically set by Autodesk, I don't necessarily love. It's a personal thing. It's not anything bad. But for example, issues is one that is automatically set as an hourly frequency. Now, if I'm tagged into an issue, I want to know right away rather than waiting for an hourly update. So I usually change this to an instant notification. I'll typically do the same on RFIs and submittals as well, and then come through and do it in the next section too. So look, all you need to do is you do this once, and this is now part of the project template. So from then on, you don't need to be changing this notification frequency for every project. You just do it once and it's already set. So I'm just going to keep that set there for now. Okay, so if I now jump across into my next section of my project template that I want to set up. So this is where we can set up a folder structure. So I'll just let that load up. So as you can see here, this is just quite a basic folder structure that I've set up. Obviously completely customizable, subfolders, everything you can apply. Excuse me. So what we can do here as well is there's a number of different permissions that you can apply onto each folder structure. So I'll show you an example. I'll open the subfolder first. If I want to only have my architectural team be able to view this folder and I don't want them to view the structural folder, for example, then I can always come in here, set up a permission setting, come in here, add my architect as the role, give them a permission level of let's just say it's an edit permission level. I'll leave that on the screen so you can have a quick look through the different permissions you can apply. So I'll add that in there. So now the architect will only be able to view this folder. They won't be able to see any other folders. You will see this in action in a little while once we pass it off to Shane shortly, because I'll set him up as a sub-consultant. But I just wanted to show you this up front through the project template as well, because obviously this then gets applied to every project you create from this template going forward. Okay, so the other part of the project template that you can set up is the reviews. So we can see in here, I have 2 reviews that we have already set up, or review workflows, I should say, that we already have set up. So if I look at my 2-step approvals here, so you can quite clearly see here that you can add any person as an initiator. And when I say any person, I'm talking user, role, or company. Can initiate a particular review. I've just got civil engineer here as an example. And I've selected a 2-step review. So you can see the 2 steps here. You can change the name of each step. You can change who's reviewing. You can change the time allowed, all these different bits and pieces, which is great. You can adjust the statuses that you have in each review. And one part I really like as well, and we'll be showing this in action today too, is this copy approved files action as well. So if I slide that on, you can see that you can automatically have the files that go through a review publish into a different folder once the review has been approved. So if I leave this on, basically any approval document that's approved gets published into my civil folder there, which is a really great feature to have and quality control feature. So I will save that for now. I will get in and create a brand new review workflow for you shortly, but I'll do that through an actual project. But I'll show that for you soon. Okay, the next section we have here is the issues. So while I'm reviewing a project, I need to be able to obviously create issues within the model or the drawings. So again, this is all out of the box. So the different types of issues and categories of issues that I can assign. So it could be a building code violation. It could just be a design issue. It could be a clash even. And if I go in and actually have a look at a particular issue category here, you can see over on the right that we can manage the fields. So for example, if I'm adding a clash issue into a model or a document, what other data do I want to be able to attach to that issue? I'll show this in action soon, but the fields that you can add here, you can see that it comes with description and people that are assigned to actually work on that issue, watches for people that you want to just be able to watch on to see what happens with that issue. And you can see there's location details, start and end, root causes, all the rest of it as well. And you can also see that you can customize or add any customized fields, I should say, as well. So really good metadata that you can add to all of your issues. Okay, great. So what I am going to do now is come back into my project admin and actually create a project from this template. So I'm happy with everything I have set up at the moment within this project template. So I'm going to create a project. I will just call it Web Demo 1. Won't bother adding any of the other information in there. You do need to add a project type. Let's just call it Street, Road, Highway. That doesn't actually affect anything down the pipeline. That's purely just a data point that you can have access to. And you can see all the other different pieces of information you can add onto the project as well. So I will click that and have that project set up while that just thinks about it there. Okay, great. I've just actually realized as well that I haven't been flicking back to my workflow screen over here. I'm sorry. So you would have seen I've built my project template. I've just created my project here. So now the next stage here is I will be tailoring that project to my specific project requirements. So if I pull my docs back up, there we go. So I'm now inside my project here. You can see I'm in the web demo, the project that I have just created there. So look, initially what I'm going to do is I know that within this project that I have, excuse me, that I have some sub-consultants that I will be working with. So What I want to do is come into my project here, come into my project folders, which are just loading up. Okay, so in my external folder here, I am going to add a subfolder and just call it what I can type. Subconsultant one. So it could be subconsultant, contractor, any sort of external party you can think of as this. And I will save that there. Now I'm going to add a permission setting onto this folder as well. So I will add that there. Now that I'm in the actual project, I can add, well, actually, sorry, before I do that, I need to actually add some members into my project. Sorry, I jumped ahead a step. I will firstly add a member in. So I'm going to add Shane in. So Shane, who's joining me here on this webinar, he will shortly, or right now, he will receive an invitation to join my project. And you would have seen that when that loads in, so right now what's happening is Shane is actually just getting an email inviting him to the project. You've seen him pop up here. Now, by default, he's added into my company because he's part of my organization. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to move him across into a separate company that I've already had set up in my system called Subconsultant 1. So again, this is your external consultant, your subconsultant, whoever it needs to be. Great. So now if I come back into my files here, so in my external folder, I drop it down. I can come into my subfolders, come into my permission settings, and you can see that, well, Shane O'Rourke has been added in as a permission on my thing, but I can also just add the subconsultant company as well and give them full management control. So what that will mean, because I added Shane as a project admin, that's why he's showing there. But what that will mean is that the subconsultant can only see this folder. So they don't have access to any of my other data that is within my project here. So it's a very powerful way to have oversight and govern the data that your subconsultants will be creating for you. So I will close out of there. In terms of tailoring project requirements, another thing that I will add here, and this is a very new feature that is within Autodesk Docs, but it's review auto trigger details. So the idea of this folder here is that the subconsultant at any time when they want to pass me a model or a drawing to review, this is a folder that they can upload that model or drawing to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a actually, what I'll do first is I'll actually set up the base review. I told you I'll show you how to do that. So I can create a review workflow, approval workflow. So I'm going to make it a one-step approval. I'm just going to call it subconsultant 1 review. So again, you can do this through the project template so that this is a standard thing, but I just wanted to actually show you how it gets created. So the company, so this is the subconsultant company can initiate this review. And then once they initiate this review, it's going to be sent to me. I'm going to have 3 days to review it. And again, this is where I'm going to then copy the files that get approved. So they would have uploaded them into external, but once they've actually been approved, let's say they get published into, let's just say my architecture folder over here. Okay, and save. Okay, great. So now back in my folder structure, I'm going to make it an automatic trigger. So as soon as my subconsultant adds or uploads their model into this, this folder here, I can create a review. So I'll just call it here and say review 1. So when they upload, copy or move a file into this folder, what does it do? It adds it into that subconsultant 1 review. So that review approval workflow that I just made, it'll add it through to that workflow. Review title, review 1. Okay, great. Create. Okay, great. So now at this point, I have created my folder structure and all my permission sets initially through the project template. Within my actual project, I've done a few bits and pieces there. Some of it I could have obviously done through the project template, but I wanted to show you how it actually works on the project itself. And so you would have seen me create some permission sets and also that auto trigger review as well. And so as you would have seen me with that sub-consultant folder, I did mention that my idea for this demo was that you would have the sub-consultant simply upload a model for review into that folder. But look, it's up to you as the asset owner how you want to manage that collaboration with your external contractor or consultant. So if you wanted them to completely work out of that folder, then you could simply ask them to. On their side, they would have access to that folder. That consultant can then just have their usual folder structure contained within there. That would give you access to even their working models and documents as they work through. If that's not something you want to, I guess, mandate across to your external consultants, then as I said, it could be something as simple as requiring them to drop their models into a particular folder for you then to review them. It's up to you as the asset owner as to how far you want to go down the path there. Okay, so at this point, the last thing I wanted to show is that it's another part of standardizing this work set, and it is naming standards. So within my project, I can create a naming standard. Now I can create that by default to ISO 19650 template, which is great. So that's international standard for building information modeling. So as you can see here, it already has built into it what the naming convention needs to be. It is completely customizable. You can see once I've clicked create from template, it then allows me to come in and edit individual attributes and items within that naming convention if I like. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to keep it set as it is. Now, what I'm going to do is just select folders. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm not going to make Shane upload files within this naming convention. So I'm just going to apply it to a folder that we aren't going to use today as part of the demonstration. But this is just showing you how that works. So I'm going to save that there. Now, the great thing is if I come back into my main folder area, you can see a little tick box there. So I clearly identify that that's the only folder that has a naming convention applied to it or a naming standardization applied to it. And what you might not have noticed before, but we now have a holding area. So that wasn't shown before. But now that we have a naming standard, you'll see in this holding area that files that require additional input for naming convention are held here. So what that means is that no files can be uploaded into your system unless they're named exactly how you would like it. If they do, they get held in this holding area, and the person that's uploaded that file gets told that they need to update the name of that file before it actually gets published into your system. So it's a great little feature there, just to standardize naming convention across your files and your design packages. Okay, so if I go back into my little spreadsheet here, slide deck here. So look, I've already invited my sub-consultants. You would have seen me go through and add Shane and make him out of the company that was called sub-consultants. So we're now going to show you a little bit of the communication and collaboration tools that you have access to. So I'll flick back to my Docs environments now. So look, I'm about to pass across to Shane, but just to summarize what I have allowed for him. So I've given him access into this external folder and specifically the sub-consultant 1 folder. I've given him permission to access that. I've also put on review triggers for it as well. I think Shane might have beaten me to the punch and popped a model in there before I actually had the auto trigger set up. So that's actually going to be good because we'll show you how to manually create a review as well. So at this point, I will pass across to my colleague Shane, who you can think of as an external consultant to me being the asset owner. So Shane, I'll get you to take it away.
Thank you very much, Ben. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So I'm going to just take over share. I will say, Ben, when you created me, you might have created me as like a project admin.
I did, yes.
So I may have more power than what a consultant may have.
That's all right. What I'll do is I did notice I did that. I can actually change that. I have just changed that now. It might take a few seconds to reflect on your side, but pretty soon, I'm assuming it's showing that you have access to all of the folders. I've just changed you out of an admin level, so you should just be accessing the single folder now. But that might take a few seconds to update on your side.
No problems. Thank you. Is everyone seeing my screen? There should be an email I've received. Everyone seeing my screen?
Yes, yes.
Excellent, excellent. So this is my invitation to join Ben. So once I click on join, it flicks me into the relevant project, and I just hop into Docs to get visibility over what I'm allowed to work on. So Ben has stolen away my power to attack the entire project, which is what should happen. And as an external consultant, I have access to this folder where I can contribute files and data, and then I can initiate reviews as required. There's actually a number of ways to work within the Docs environment. One way is to simply hit update, upload files, and pop in the files relevant for the project. And that can be drawing files, Revit files, it can be Word documents, it can be text files, it can be all sorts of different file formats. That's one way to go. What I do want to show you is that if you want to, you can actually set up your environment so that you can actually run it through a drag and drop straight through Windows Explorer. So to do this, you install what's called the Autodesk desktop connector. And all you need to do is to click on that, which sits in the Windows tray, which I was a bit quick to click around, but that's the desktop connector. And I go to select projects, and I say I'd like to be part of this project that I was invited into. So this is Web Demo 1. Is that us, Ben? Are we Web
Yeah,
Demo 1
yes,
right now?
yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So once that happens, straight in a Windows Explorer, I can see I've got a node here, like a external drive for Autodesk Docs, and you can see Web Demo 1, and I can see access to all the folders that I have access to contribute to. And what I'll do is I'll just dump in a couple of little files here. I'll dump in a CSV of a volume report and also a project report for a project. As Ben mentioned, I had already dragged in a Revit file, but I could, drag and drop in any number of files in here. All I need to do is to use standard Windows drag and drop, and I've basically placed them in. So they are now merrily uploading to the project. And this is one method of contributing. Okay, the other method is because you have the desktop connector, you can actually do a load and a save from AutoCAD or Civil 3D and basically be connecting directly to a Docs hub and a Docs project to drop things in. So flicking away from that process, I just want to show you there's multiple ways that we can pop in and contribute. If I go to this panel here, so you can see here that the files are uploaded, they're version controlled, but what I can do here is use the web browser directly to upload as well. So if we go upload files, what I need to do now is drag and drop those files in. So I can just go and, oops, I can just go and drag and drop. So I won't bother with the DWG, I'll just drag those two. Okay, so they will process in and you'll see that they version up immediately. Any of these files you can actually click on and view. I might let Ben do that on the files, but you will notice as well, Ben had set up an automatic review setup. Right, so what's actually happened if we're going to reviews, as soon as the system detected that I'd uploaded those files, they've gone into a review for Ben. Now, if I need to or want to, I can manually create a review as well. Okay, so I can come in here, I can go and pick the files that are relevant for a review, and I establish and pick the relevant workflow that I'd like Ben to go through, and final review, revision 1. So the great news is, as you upload files, you can have them automatically build reviews, and this is just to show you can also build them manually. Versions are listed. You can step versions forward and back, so there's full version control here. But once I submit this, I've now triggered to Ben for a review, and I think it's time for me to hand back to Ben to go ahead and finalize that review. So I'll just hit send here, and that review is now ready to go. So I think, Ben, that's it for me. Very simple for an
Yeah.
external consultant to contribute in.
Well, that's the point, right? So, thanks a lot for that, Jake. Look, I will grab the screen share back from you. Let me just make sure I click on the right buttons over here. Okay, so we should be seeing my screen back up here. So, look, just to note, I guess what Shane was referring to when I flicked it over to him is I had added Shane with an access level as the project administrator. That's why initially he could see all of the folders. That was completely my error, but luckily it's very easy just to switch him back to a project member, which then pushed him back into only being able to access the folder that we gave him permission to. So just wanted to quickly cover that off. So now this is my environment. So Shane's obviously done his work in his environment. He's my external consultant. He's built a great model. He's popped it into the folder that I've given him access to. My email's been going off, giving me notifications that he's done that. But I can also see here in my environment that everything he's uploaded is showing for me as well. We can see all the versioning. We can see all the history of what he's uploaded. Including that everything is in a review, which was that automatic trigger that we showed before. So as we said, there is viewing capabilities directly within Docs as well. So we can always open up reports, have a good look through them, same as CSVs or anything else. But what I really wanted to show was the viewing capabilities of the actual model. So I'm going to do through the actual review process. So we may as well just use one of the reviews that have come through. That's the one that doesn't have the model in it. I will do this one. That's one that's got the model in it. So I can now start my review, let that kick into gear. So directly out of this review screen here, I can open up this model. And I have some very good viewing, markup, and issue capabilities within this model. So look, this is a Revit model. I'm not using Revit or anything like that. I don't have a Revit license assigned. I don't even have the application downloaded on my machine. But you can see here I've got full viewing capabilities down here as well. You can look at all the metadata of anything you're looking at. There's measurements tools, there's sectioning tools. You can get into first person and really get in and have a look at the model. There's some really good capabilities within here as well. I don't believe, no, so we don't have a sheet set attached to this model, but if we did, then they would be showing up in this view as well. So look, what I wanted to show was the issue part. So look, I have mentioned, I showed you before that the issue categories and types is completely customizable. These are all the ones that are essentially out of the box. So look, as part of this model, I've picked up a building code violation. So I can simply create that as an issue. I can pinpoint it exactly where I need to. So let's just tag it onto these stairs. Maybe the risers on the stairs are too tall or too short. And so you can see here that's added an issue right onto that point. And this is all the data that I can now add into that issue. So again, the actual fields that are part of this issue are all customizable as well. And that's what I showed you a little bit earlier. So this will automatically send it back to the author, Shane, but you can also assign it to some other people as well if you need to. A watcher is someone that simply, could be the project manager, someone like that, who just needs to be aware that the issue exists, but they don't actually need to action anything on it. You can even have attachments. So you might attach the relevant specification or building standard or Australian standard in here to reference the violation. And you can also tag different people, roles, companies through just the general comment section as well. Within the activity log of an issue as well, everything I do is all recorded. So you're never losing activity. Quality control is very good through this review process. Okay, so that's an issue I have raised. Hopefully that was quite clear. Some other functions we can do here. So this button up here allows you to compare. So this is only V1 of the model, so it won't allow me to do it. But if there were extra versions of this model, then you can compare them side by side, and it will show color variations as well. So if we move the beam across or raised a floor or anything like that, it will color code that to show that that's the difference between the versions. Similarly here, I can simply click across straight into my next file as part of this review process as well. So this viewing screen is really good, and it really streamlines that workflow as well. So I'll cross out of there. So what I'm going to do is just approve each of these documents. I really like what Shane's done here. Well done. You can see even with this review, everything I'm doing is getting tracked as well through here. And I'm going to submit this as a final review. Again, you would have remembered back when I set up this review process, I set up the option to automatically transfer these files to a particular folder. You can see that if I had, also with the markups, if I had put some markups on that model as well, then they would be published as well. You can set up more notifications to notify other project managers or whoever else that this review is complete as well. So really powerful tool there. So I will submit that and just give that a second or two to think. And while that is going, I'll pop back into my folders. And if I remember which folder I published these to, here we go. So you would have, these are already come across. You'll see that was very quick in terms of those models and documents publishing through as soon as I've approved that workflow. So look, from an asset owner versus external consultant point of view, so really powerful collaboration tools there. Okay, great. So look, one other thing I did want to mention as well, I know that a lot of asset owners would need, more formal transmittals to occur for models and design packages to be passed between. So there is actually still an option to use transmittals, and that will automatically create a spreadsheet transmittal for you as well, showing versioning and authors and everything as well. So you can create that through AUtodesk Docs as well. So as I mentioned on the top, we're showing you one workflow, but there are a lot of different workflows that you can use through this system. Okay, I will dive back into my my slides here. Again, I didn't go back in and actually point everybody to the next step, but that final step there, publishing and owning your own data. So that's what you would have seen by that approval process and pushing that model and that data into the folder that I set up there. So look, I know that demonstration was probably a lot to take in just viewing. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of what you guys have just seen. And really just summarize, I guess, the highlights of what we showed you. So look, we showed you how to automate your project setup and initiation through the project templates function, and how you can then expand that into permissions for various users, roles, or companies to really protect your data, but also protect your external consultants' data as well. We showed you how the review and the approval process can work through Docs, and how you can do away with emails back and forth and really consolidate that review process onto a single platform. We demonstrated a number of ways you can control the sharing and collaboration between your internal and external teams as well, and how you can control and govern those project deliverables. So look, just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who came today. We certainly appreciate your time. Hopefully you took something out of this webinar. If you did want to get in touch and ask any further questions or see any other functions or features of what we showed you today, then email, phone, or contact us through our website, as you can see here. And yeah, we will get back in touch and have a good chat. So thank you again, everybody, and I hope you have a good afternoon.